Okay, somehow I got disconnected. My video, though, is still blurry. I don't know what that's all about. I've been having computer problems today. I was online with IT because my mouse and my keyboard decided not to work. So that was an hour of trying to get that going, because without that, I can't do anything. So it has been one heck of a day. Now I got to open up everything back again. And now my mouse is not working. Okay, there it goes again. I need a new machine.
Can you hear me, Stephanie?
Yes, I can.
Hi. Yeah, my computer is going slow as I don't know what right now.
We're all having computer issues.
I'm trying to open the book, and this book is horrible because it jumps all around. I can't get it through this regular source. I have to go to Bookshelf to get it.
Yeah.
It takes forever to load. I don't know what's going on.
We've been having some problems and we're trying to get it fixed. We had contacted Vital Source to figure out what's going on because there have been a lot of issues which we've never had before.
Right.
When
I had
you
writers too.
Yeah.
It came back. So I think it's just Vital.
Yeah. Vital Source is having some issues. When you log into Connect Math, there should be an ebook button though on the top right, and you can use that instead.
No, I do that, and then it says not Vital Source. It's not doing it.
Oh.
And then I started my I put up my favorites, the Bookshelf, and now like for the whole time I've been on with you, it's still loading, just trying to get to chapter 2.
Oh.
Right. So
well, at least you've got my videos, which go over everything you need. So if you can't use the ebook.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of difficulties in this. I just don't.
So have you tried using Vital Source on your phone or like an iPad or something like that and see if that?
I haven't done it on my phone, but I probably could because I have the download.
Yeah.
But I'm on my computer and I'm on vacation in Florida, so yay.
Yeah.
But like trying to get, I just can't. I go step by step through those things, and for some reason the answers. So when they say the solution set, you have to put the brackets around it, right?
Yes. When it
says it's what the solution set, but then when I do that, it's wrong.
Well, usually they'll put them there already for you, so you don't have to put them in there.
Boy.
You can see me one moment.
They went camera. Okay, see, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not loading right now. It might be the internet connection I have here.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently just today technology has been terrible, but if the ebook in Connect Math isn't working, then you need to contact the McGraw-Hill help and see if they can at least fix that one. McGraw-Hill, they're the people that the ebook is through and created Connect Math. So if there are issues in Connect Math, they are the ones that will fix it.
Okay. So yeah.
So I think when you log into Connect Math, there should be
doing that right now. Yeah, like I said, everything's going slower than slow.
Yeah, I'm trying to log in right now, which I'll actually...
I know you're there. You're there. Oh, I have that.
Don't touch my hair. No, don't touch my hair.
Somebody else is here.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Saying you can't reach it.
Yeah, so there's a help button.
And I will restart the computer because something's going on.
Yeah,
I think I will restart. I left it open when I went to the store doing those, driving me crazy. So I had to take a break from algebra because you know what? It's giving me, I can't even get through one of the assignments because it's just so bad. Like I cannot, I go step by step and then I go to do the next problem. And I don't know if it's my addition, my subtraction, or if I'm minusing instead of just making it a negative. It's very
Mhm.
confusing. But I'm hoping that maybe whatever you're going over today, when it came through, I was like, oh, maybe this will help.
Yes, yeah, and you can use a calculator. But if you're having problems getting to the ebook, there's this help button up here and you can contact customer support, and at least here in Connect Math. So like when I log in, I'll just log into one of the courses.
Yeah, I'm looking at you on my,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's a help, and then there's, so if this ebook
Oh,
button's
I
not
see.
working,
Okay, use that help.
yeah,
Okay, so that's a good thing to do. I have used
yeah,
the tutors are a little weird because I show them the problem. They're like, well, that's right. And then they're like, okay, no, that's wrong. And then I'll be like, well, is this right? And I don't know. It's just been so long since I've done this.
mm-hmm,
And I do it well the first time. I'm just letting you know.
mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
So this help would be used if you're having issues with the Connect Math and the ebook for inside Connect Math, and they can help you out there.
Messing up I thank God there's unlimited tries. I'm just afraid on the test, like without the steps,
Yeah, well, that's why I give, you turn in your work on the quizzes so I can give partial credit if you have correct steps and everything. Or if you didn't
Right.
quite enter it right, I can still give points. So I wouldn't
Right.
worry too
I
much about that.
I do appreciate the extra help. Because I am going through it and it's just driving me bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure out why I get 4 or 22 over 17 and they get like 82 over 3. And I'm like, how did that happen? Where did I mess up? So I
Are
try
you
to go
using
back through the process.
this help that is on there? Let me just,
And I've been using through the problems and I know it's there. And that's what I do. But when I go to do it by myself,
Mhm.
something happens, even though I think it's a maybe I just don't know how to add and subtract and multiply. That could be, and I seem to be transposing things. So I'm not sure
Okay.
if it's me.
So yeah, if you're transposing
Yeah.
things that could cause problems, like if you get it wrong, I would, show the steps so you can see where you messed up. So that way the next time you do it, you know what step you messed up on. Maybe highlight
That's
it
what
and correct it.
Yeah. And I don't want to go any further ahead because I want to get this right. Because if I don't get this right, I'm in big trouble.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
everything is on this.
Yes. Yeah. So like if I get this one wrong. Oh, I thought I already clicked.
No, you're not going to get it wrong, but okay.
I'm
Oh, you're
deliberately
gonna try to
getting, yeah, I'm deliberately getting it wrong. Okay, if you do the guided solution, it will be the same exact problem. And so then try to see
Yep,
where did you go wrong? And then I would
That's-
just use the show me so you can see, what
I mean,
you were
I have-
supposed to do.
Oh, I was down here because all of these I've used to be figuring this out. I've used half a notebook.
Yeah, that's
But
normal for this class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not losing my
No.
mind.
Most
Okay,
people go for at least one notebook, maybe two, for a math class. So
Yeah,
that's normal.
I get the B. There's a B. Okay, so we are in week 3. So what are we doing
Yes.
today here?
We are doing simple interest. So it's one of the word problem types of solving equations.
Okay. Simple interest. Okay, video help.
So
And it's funny on my notes, I'll put, I got it right. And I did it by myself.
Yeah, I gotta celebrate those things. So
Yes. Okay, I'm ready.
I wouldn't bother copying all this down. This is going to be in the PowerPoint that I'm going to share. It's a lot of steps, but it's just, this is the basics of when you're doing a word problem, how the steps that you should go through when you solve a word problem. So the
Okay.
first step is to read it carefully, write down the numbers that you're given and what they represent. Maybe draw pictures or make tables to kind of help you figure out the problem. I like to draw pictures.
What do you mean draw pictures?
So if it's like a problem involving distance and you're looking for the distance between two things, or one person's traveling one direction, one person's traveling the other direction, I'll draw a picture to represent the situation.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so it helps me figure out what's going on. So if it's something that,
Visualize it.
yeah, to visualize it. So if it's a problem where a picture makes sense, then you could draw a picture. Though the problems we're doing today, there's not really any pictures that you really need to draw.
Yeah, I think my brain also, so like when it's a Z, somewhere in the equation, I start making that a 2. So what I started doing was highlighting the variable.
Yeah,
So
that's
I knew
why.
that that was the variable on every part.
Yes, that's a good method. I always write my Z's with the line
With
in the
a-
middle,
Mhm.
specifically because of that. So I just got in the habit
Yeah,
of doing
S's,
that.
I do the same thing with S's because S's start
Yes.
looking like 5s for me.
Yeah, so I try to be very different, like try to
Right.
make them look very different, because yeah, that could be a cause of issues. And so you have to work hard to make them look different.
Yes, we got to figure out a
Yeah,
you
so
know,
like
your own system.
Yeah, so instead of doing a lowercase L like that, I'll do a cursive L so that it doesn't look like a 1, or instead of like
Oh, that's
a
a good idea.
T
Yeah.
looking like a plus sign, I will put a little curve at the bottom so I know it's not a plus sign. So
Yep.
you
Yep,
have to learn
that's-
your
yep,
system to
that's-
make sure that they're different. So
Right,
when you're
right.
solving a word problem, we've got reading, then you figure out what are the things you don't know that you're trying to find, and that's what you set equal to your variables. And then you usually want to pick a letter that makes sense for what it's representing. So if it's representing interest, you'd probably want to use I. If it's amount, you might use A. Pick a letter that makes sense. We often use T for time, D for distance, H for height. You want to pick, if you just always pick like X and Y,
Mhm.
then you're looking at the equation and it's more foreign than if you picked a letter that actually kind of represents what
Kind
it
of like
is.
if you're measuring a box, it always says width and then
Yes.
length at the bottom. So
Right.
and
Yeah.
height,
So you would use
yeah,
like L
okay.
or W, something like that. Yeah. So
I get it.
once you figured out your numbers and you've got your variables, then you write your equations. So sometimes there's a formula that you use, and so you just need to write down the formula that you're going to be using. Sometimes you have to create the equation on your own. Sometimes you have to create more than one equation. And if it's a situation
Yes.
where you need to create the equation on your own, I find it helpful to write it out in words what's going on, and then translate from the words to the equation using the words like sum, total, those kind of things to help translate it.
Right. So that it makes more sense in your mind. It takes
Yes.
a little longer, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, later on, it'll be quicker.
Yeah, and
Right,
often word problems will, the parts that you need for the equation will be in multiple sentences. So often what you need to do if you're creating your own equation is to put together all those different parts that are in multiple sentences and then state it in one sentence that brings it all together so that you see what's really going on.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
I am taking notes though.
so once you've got your
I'm old. I
equation
can't remember
written,
everything.
yeah, well, you get the PowerPoints afterwards, so at least you've got that. But once you've written your
Right. Just gives
equation,
me an idea of what we're talking about.
yeah. So once you've got the equation, then you go into the solving process where you actually go through the actual math to solve it for your variable. And then once you get your answer, you want to make sure it checks, that it makes sense. So first check it into your equation to make sure it works and you didn't mess up your solving. Then if it
Yeah,
works,
I have to do that more.
yeah, if it works in your equation, then you need to ask yourself, does this make sense as an answer? Because if you get an answer that doesn't make sense, but it worked in your equation, that tells you that the equation you set up was wrong. So that can give you an
Okay.
indication of where you might have messed up. Like if you're solving for time and you got a negative value, that tells you that your equation was probably wrong. And
Time will never be a negative.
right, yeah, we can't time travel yet, so we can only
Not
go
yet.
forward. Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
So if it works in the equation and it seems to make sense, then you want to make sure you go back and reread the question and make sure you're actually answering what was asked. Because sometimes you'll go and solve an equation and that's an answer, but then you have to do something after that to actually answer the question.
I know that there's been a couple of ones that says, find the expression and then simplify, or
Mhm.
actually just find the expression. So there's a big, long problem, then all you're doing is finding what the expression is.
Yes.
That is what the question is, right?
Yes. Yeah. You don't have to solve. You don't have to do anything else. So people often do too much or not enough.
That's what I see.
So yeah. So always double check, reread the question after you've done your work to make sure you did what you were supposed to do.
And when they say solve, you solve.
Yes. Yes. And then
So-
for word problems, if you're solving, generally you write your final answer in a sentence in context. So you're not just giving a number, you're saying like the distance between these 2 points is 12 miles or something like that. You're adding in your units, you're
Right.
kind of restating the question, but you're putting it in context because you're working with a real problem. You just don't go around spouting off x equals 2 when you're in real life,
Oh, you just have to go to x=2. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's a little less confusing, I guess. Another paper. No, I need another piece of paper. Okay, go.
So that's the procedure. Now, all of the problems we're doing today have formulas for us. So we can basically, it's going to be an easy procedure today because we already know the equation that we have to use. It's just a matter of putting the numbers where they belong and making
Right.
sure you're doing what you're asked. So this is a good kind of introduction to the type of problem solving. So we're focusing on just simple interest problems. So it's a very specific type of word problem. And so word problems come in multiple categories. And if you do a lot of them, you'll notice like, oh, all ones that are worded like this are solved this way. All ones that are worded like this are solved this way. So they're all little categories. And then the steps are very similar in that category. So simple interest is a specific category where they all use the same equation. And so you kind of know immediately what you're doing. So
Right.
simple interest is when we're charging interest once.
Okay.
We're just doing it, and it's you can do it once. It might be usually once per year is kind of the way they do these interest things, but the interest is not interest on the interest you already had. It's only on the original amount. So, like if you have a savings account, you get interest, and then your next interest includes that interest because the balance is always
Right.
increasing.
It's a-
Simple
so-
interest
so if
does
it's
not do
5,
that.
So you get like whatever times is equals 5. That's going to be your like that exponent of whatever that number is always going to be the same. Like
Yeah,
if,
yeah.
if you're getting 12% on 125, then you're always going to get 12% on 125.
Yes, yeah.
Or
It's not, yeah,
6% on 125.
yeah. It's not going
on the
to
initial.
accumulate. Yes, that's what makes it simple interest, which is not
Mm.
what we have most of the time in real life, but this is a good introduction to these types of problems. Start
Right.
simple and then go more complicated.
That's pretty much my theory, hopefully.
Yes. So the formula that we use is I equals PRT. So I stands for interest, and we usually use a capital I for that.
Capital I, okay.
And that's because lowercase I stands for something else in math. So
Yeah.
so we want to make sure we don't get confused.
I just still don't understand why letters are in math, but okay.
Well, we have to use some sort of symbol. If it's
That's
not letters,
true.
we can do Greek letters, and we do have
No,
Greek
thank you.
letters in high level math.
No, thank you very much. I think this is the only math course I need to take for my 2 years associates. So we are in good shape.
Yeah, so we'll stick with regular letters. We're not going to throw in Chinese characters or anything
Thank
like
you.
that.
Thank you. We all appreciate that. I know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So I stands for interest. Then we've got P, which stands for principal, and principal is the official term for, the amount you have invested. They call it principal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we use P, and we use a capital P for that because lowercase p usually is for percents. It
Okay.
also can get confused with the Greek symbol, so we try not to use a lowercase p because it can get confused with another letter.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's multiplied by the annual interest rate. So like I said, this is usually interest per year. And so we use R to represent rate versus
A
P
small
for
r.
percent. Yeah, because we don't want to use a capital P and a lowercase p, and then that gets confusing.
Right, right.
So we use R for that. And then that's always used in decimal form. So if it's 5%, you need to write it in its decimal form by dividing by 100 and then use that number.
Okay.
And then T stands for time, and that's for measured in how many years you're getting your interest.
Okay.
So this formula will tell you how much interest you earned, but it doesn't tell you the total in your account. Like it will give you how much interest is added on, but if you need the total in the account, you have to do an extra calculation after that.
I know my bank account, I made 2 cents.
Yeah, I
Not
don't,
sure how
I don't,
that happened, but
the interest rates are not good right now. So
so it's like, I made
Yeah.
2 cents. I was like, oh, and they took out $2 for a fee. So I really didn't make out well.
no.
I had to put more money in there. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to use our formula I equals PRT. So I've got 2 problems here. These are sort of the simpler type of problems, and they're doing 2 different things. So the first one is the easiest type. How much interest will Roxanne have to pay if she borrows $2,000 for 2 years at a simple interest rate of 4%? So we read through the problem,
Okay.
and
I
then
can't
we
see
want
it very well. Okay, if she borrows $2,000.
Yeah.
And for 2 years.
2 years with a simple
And-
interest rate of 4%.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we want to kind of piece together our numbers and then determine what variables they belong with. So she's borrowing $2,000. That's the principal. So we've got our principal equal to $2,000.
B equals 2,000.
And then
Okay.
it says 2 years. So that's going to be T. That's the time.
Right.
And then our interest rate, which is R, is 4%. And we need to convert that to the decimal form.
0.04.
Yes, 0.04. I always have to think about how many zeros do I have there.
I know. Yeah, I can do that pretty good.
Yes.
Okay, so now we just need our interest. Wait, no.
Yes. Yeah. So we're looking for interest. That's our unknown variable I. And we have a formula to use. So our equation is I equals PRT. And I'm only plugging things into the right side. So I can just do all of my math along the right here. Because I'm not really solving anything. I'm just plugging numbers in and then doing the math.
Mhm.
So I can,
So it's a multiplication.
yep, that's all we're doing. And so I don't really need to
2,000.
do it vertically.
And then it's you did 0.04 instead of the time next to it, right?
Yes,
So
because the
then-
order is PRT. The order,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it doesn't
order.
matter. You could do time first because they're all just multiplied.
Okay. No problem. They're all going to make the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So now we do. Okay. So how did you get 160? Hold on. So 2,000 times 0.04
Mm-hmm. And then times 2.
and times 2. I'm going to trust you and I'll look at a calculator
Yeah,
later.
I've got it
okay?
on my calculator. I definitely did not do that in my head.
Okay. Good job.
Yeah.
So 160 is our interest.
Yes, since that's I.
So is that
So
160?
that's
or
160.
decimal?
Yeah. So because
There's
the
no decimal.
yeah, there's no decimal. It came out at 160 whole number. And then that's in dollars because our 2,000 was in dollars. The units
So
are the same.
Right. So she'll pay $160 interest on $2,000 for 2 years at a rate of 4%.
Exactly. That is even better than how I was going to write it. That's exactly how you'd write your answer.
And, oh, you'd actually write that whole thing out.
Yes, because you put it as a sentence, but I don't
So
have enough
poor
room for that.
Roxanne. So poor Roxanne will pay $160 on a $2,000 loan for 2 years at can I put 4% interest or 0.04?
You could put 4% interest. Because if
Okay.
you put 0.04, then it's not a percent anymore. That's the decimal version.
Right. So to figure it out, you need the decimal. To write it, you just do it as 4%.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I didn't have that much room to write that. So I just wrote
No,
she
I
will
did that.
pay
I just
160. But that's
yeah.
and
As I said, Roxanne will pay $160
yes.
on $2,000. And okay,
Exactly.
that's pretty simple stuff.
Yes. And in Connect Math, most of the sentence will already be there and you just plug in the numbers, but they'll put it in sentence form because that's what we do. We put it as a sentence.
Because why make it math? Why not make it English?
I mean, it's more understandable that way.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So what is that? $9,000?
Yes.
Okay. So if $9,000,
So we've got $9,000 gross to $10,440.
$10,440
In
See, I
2
do that a
years.
lot.
Oh,
That's
you've
funny.
switched your 0 and your 4.
I went 10,400 and I went 40,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to change the 0 to a 4. So I do this a lot, and I think it's a mathlexia.
Yeah, it's called dyscalculia. It has official name for that. If
Oh,
you
good. I have
yeah.
something else wrong with me. Excellent.
And I mean, the best thing to catch it is by saying your stuff out loud.
I
And
do.
then-
I talk everything out
Yeah,
loud.
because like you said, 10,440, and then you realize, wait, that's not what I wrote. So if you read it out loud, that can help you catch those things.
Right. Find the simple interest rate. So now we're doing the same thing. We're just finding the simple interest rate.
Right. So $9,000 is our starting amount. So that's P. That's our principal.
So I equals
And
9,000.
Notice they're not giving us the amount of interest. They're telling us the total after interest was already added.
So the
It's
I becomes 10,440.
minus 9,000 because I is just the amount of interest. But this is saying we didn't earn 10,440 interest. That was the amount after interest was already put in. So I need to find the difference between 10,440 and 9,000 to actually find out how much interest was added.
Just not to say anything weird, but short term, you could just probably do 10,000 minus 10,440 minus 9,000.
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay, simply put,
Yes.
you could do that. So it's I equals
And so
10,440, P equals that, and then our rate.
we don't know R. So
So
that's
that
what we're looking
equals-
for. But we
yeah,
know that
minus.
T is another 2 years.
So it's a minus now, equals, you said 1440, and the time is 2.
Yes. So the total interest earned in that 2 years was $1,440
That's our answer.
by doing that subtracting.
So
Now-
the total.
Well, yeah. So the total was 10,440.
Mhm.
Now the question says find the simple interest rate. So we're looking for R.
We're looking for our percent.
Yes. So we've got our formula. I equals PRT. And now I need to plug in my numbers. So I is 1440. P is 2,000. And I have R and then times 2, which is T.
Times. Yeah. Okay. So always in that order.
Yes. So now we've got something we have to actually solve. So the previous problem we evaluated because all we needed to do was multiply. But here we
Right.
have to start doing things on both sides of the equation. So now we're solving.
Okay. Solving. Yep.
So the first thing I would do is take the 2000 and multiply it by 2 so that I
So
can get the number in front of R.
Okay, so then you put R equals 2000 times 2, which is 4000.
Yeah, so what we would write is 1440 equals 4000 to R, because the 2000 and the 2 are on the same side as R. So when I multiply them, they're still on the same side as R.
Right.
So now I need to get R. So I have to get rid of the 4000, which is currently multiplied by R. So we need to divide it. So we're going to divide both sides by 4000. So I'm
Okay,
just going to rewrite this so I can show that step.
40 minus 4000 divided by
Yes.
4000.
So I like to do this.
4000 divided by 4000 R.
Yes. The R isn't part of the dividing. So
Oh, it's
just
just
the
in there.
number. Yeah, it stays there because our goal is to get R by itself. So we don't want to touch the R. We want to touch the number in front of R.
So if we show it, do we have to put it in a line form, like 1440 divided by 4000 equals 4000 divided by 4000
Yes.
R?
Yes. This is
And
how
then
you
like
show that.
I can't use division. I think that's where I screw up, because I'll divide it, like put that line, divide it,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden something happens. So not sure it's miraculous, but something happens.
I mean, you can turn it into a division symbol, like putting little dots there to help you remind that the fraction means division. But
Mhm.
we write it this way because sometimes they don't divide into a whole number and we want our answer as a fraction. And so
Okay,
that's
so
why we
it's,
write it as a
1,
fraction.
4, 4, O equals divided by 4000, and that R stays the same. So that's
Yes.
there.
So
So
for real world problems, we will write it as a decimal and you don't have to do it as a fraction. But this would be something that would normally be a fraction. But when
this would be the end of it, the fraction.
yeah, you would be reducing it.
So because we know that R is on this side because this has been canceled out.
Yes. So
So we
on the
know
right,
R. So it's backwards. The R is on the right side instead of the left side.
yes, and it doesn't matter what side your variable's on because it's still equal.
Mhm.
So the 4000 divided by 4000 cancels. You're left with just R. And then because this is a word problem, instead of writing the 1440 over 4000, I can do the division and write it as a decimal. And so that gave me 0.36.
So you divided 1440 into this, and it became
0.36.
36. Did
Yeah.
it become 30? I don't have my calculator, but it became 36. So then instead of writing it because we need a percentage, so it's 0.36 instead of just 36.
No, the calculator gave me 0.36.
Okay.
Because we get the decimal version. Then we need to convert it to a percent, which is 36%.
So then it's 36% equals
Yes.
R.
Yes.
And then if we plug that back into the
So
problem,
you have to use the decimal version. You have to use 0.36.
0.36, so it would be 1440 equals 2000 parentheses 0.36 parentheses 2.
Yes.
And that's how
then-
I figure out how to
yeah.
get it back to check.
Yes.
So plug this into, or I just put a little arrow. Okay. So
Mhm.
plug it in a decimal.
Yes. But when you give it as your final answer, you would give it as a percent.
Right. Final answer is a percent, because that's
Yeah.
what we're looking for.
Right. So the simple interest rate is 36%.
Perfect. Okay. That it seems so good when you do it. And then I do it all by myself and I go, what the heck happened?
Just follow the steps slowly. You might need to write down next to each step why you did it or what you did in
I was
words.
doing that for, yeah, I was doing that for a while, and I made my reference pages for those steps when I got it right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I, or I put stupid addition error, look closely, like more reminders to say, hey, look at your addition, dummy.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't mean I'm a dummy, but look at your addition dummy. And like, so that I'll make a thing, a guided. So I went through the guided solution of something and I wrote everything they did. And that's how I came up with it. And then I did do the next problem correctly. So
Mhm.
that was a good thing. But then I don't know
Yes.
what happened after that. Something went haywire. And the weird thing is when the answer comes up, and this confuses me. So when it has that little thing and you click on it, it has all the little different ways you can put it. So, you could do it in the box with the parentheses, which
Mhm.
means what? Real numbers? Or the solution set.
So if it's giving you a box and then parentheses on either side, it's if it's parentheses. that
No, no,
usu-
it's the little doodle.
Oh,
on the curve.
yes. So that means a solution set. Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one is an empty set. That I do know they're close to each other.
Yeah. So the empty
And
set
then
means
they'll-
no solution.
Right, and then they'll do, and I've had this, they do like an ongoing decimal, like it's not solvable. So it's 2.33333. So, but that doesn't do it as, there's no points, there's no decimal. It's commas when you put them in there.
Yeah. Yes. That ... doesn't in the way that they do that, they're not doing that to mean that there is a decimal that goes on forever. That symbol means that there's more than one answer and they're separated by commas.
Oh, then it's not the answer of like, let's say I get 2.33647. What do I put in there if I think that's the answer?
If you get an answer like that, it usually tells you how many decimal points to round to. If it doesn't, then that means you
It's
should
the
have had a
wrong-
whole number and you messed up.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And then
Or
the
you-
fraction,
Yeah, if the fraction button is there, then that likely means your answer should be a fraction. It's kind of giving you a hint there that, oh, there's the
well,
fraction
yes,
button.
I know that I've seen it where I've tried to do it a certain way and they won't let me. So, and then I've seen where they say, my answer's there, but to simplify.
So that means you didn't
So
like
that
reduce it all
answer
the
in there is
way.
correct, but
Mhm.
they want you to simplify it. But then I'll
Yeah.
simplify it and then they'll say it's wrong.
So you might have simplified it wrong then.
It could be a negative that's supposed to be a positive. So always try each one. Maybe I guess I pulled in. It's very, very complicated for my brain. I keep pulling the wrong, and I keep forgetting to put like it's my fault. It's not
Mhm.
the problem's fault, and I'm trying to correct this by doing more and more problems to do very, very, very small steps and making sure I
Right.
write it correctly. So that is so when you look at my my sheet and my quiz, go, yeah, she's screwing up again. But I am working very hard. I have been going at this, I'll go 8 hours at a stretch.
That might be overloading your brain. You might need to take some breaks and
Yeah.
do a little bit every day instead of doing it all in one stretch, because that's
Well,
probably
I've been working 2 days on just the assignment of the 26 questions. And I keep getting stuck on like 3 of them that I can't seem to
Yeah.
get right.
well
So I just keep going.
the optional ones are not required. You only have to do the ones that are 5 questions each.
What?
Yes.
I've been doing all of them.
No, it says optional. You don't have to do those. You only need to do the ones that are in orange. And then the quiz.
Well, that changes a lot of things because I can lose my brain. That would just
You're
like, make
overloading
my-
your brain. I mean, it doesn't hurt to do extra practice. Those are there if you need extra practice, but they're not required. They're not part of your grade. That's why they're labeled as optional.
Oh, okay. I see. I don't read correctly. Maybe I will get better at the looking at directions. That is, listen, I'm a person who just pulls it out of the box and puts it together twice. So
That's not you're not the only one that does this. This is a very common thing I have to tell people. So
okay. Because we just feel that it says assignment, we get it, and I feel if I don't get 100 on it, it's not going to help my grades go up.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, so if I don't do the optional ones, it's not
It's
going to
not right.
affect my grade. So
That's
that would
correct.
save me a whole bunch of time.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
time freaked me out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yay. I'm so glad we're having this one-on-one session. I know there's 2 other people in here.
There
Is it just
was.
me and you?
It's just me. The other person left. They're probably their kids sounded like they really needed them, and they were just
I can't do it. Okay. So quiz required. So it's just, it's like a tutoring section. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
basically.
optionals are orange. Yeah, no, I'm trying to work so hard at this, and I know it's my only math I have to take, but, and listen, if I didn't do well in high school, and I've been out of high school for 35 years, I haven't really needed to use this. So
Mhm.
I know it's not something I need. I'm being a paralegal. Maybe I do. I don't know, but I will get it eventually.
Yeah. For paralegal, I am imagining they're having you take a math just because you'll probably be working with numbers, but maybe not necessarily algebra, but at least to have some understanding.
Right. Well, I think it's
You
to get
know?
my associates too, because
Yeah.
you need a math. So that's why she
Yeah.
put me in baby. This is baby math. I
It
think,
is,
for me.
yes, baby math.
I go into baby math and I'm still doing horrible. Okay. So, okay, wherever you're at, Andrea
Yes.
bars. Okay, so Andrea now.
Yeah, Andrea borrowed money another 2 years. I should have changed these. They're all 2 years. I didn't notice that. I guess I just like the number 2.
It's yeah. It's an even nice number.
Yes. Easy
2
to
years
multiply. So 2 years, it's
at
6%.
6%, and of simple interest if she had to pay back
Mhm. Total
to
of
pay
$3,640.
$40. How much did she originally? Okay, so
Mhm.
now we're looking for principal.
Yes. And so this is one where I kind of, as I read through the problem, I'm like, okay, we've got money for 2 years. So I know that T is equal to 2.
So T is equal to 2.
We have
And then
6%. So,
R is equal to 0.06.
yep. And then we have a total. So I'm literally writing the word total because that's not the interest, that's the total amount. 3,640.
Okay. Equals. Okay.
And then
So
we're
we are
looking
looking
for
for P. So I'll put a little X there. P
Yeah.
is X.
So our formula that we have doesn't involve total. Our formula is only the interest. But
Right.
if you think about what the total means, total is basically your principal that you have plus the interest.
Oh, okay.
Because you're just adding on whatever that interest you earned.
So it would be, the problem would be the total is 3,640 equals,
Now our
X.
principal, yeah, that's our unknown.
Right. So X is our principal.
And then
0.06 times, right?
So not exactly. So your principal is P. That's the stand for principal, but then we're adding in the interest. So then it's plus, and then the formula for interest, and interest is P times R times T.
P, oh, okay, so P parentheses 0.06 parentheses 2.
Yes.
So it's 3640 equals
Yeah.
P plus 0.06 times times just 2.
P plus P times 0.06 times
Oh,
2.
P plus.
Yes.
Why is it P plus?
So there's 2 P's in here. The first P is coming from the fact that your total is your principal plus the interest. So you're starting with the amount, and then we're adding on the interest, and the formula for interest has a P in it already. So that's how we end up with 2 of them.
That's how, okay, so we're looking for, we keep that first P.
Yes, because that
Because
first
that is
P is
there.
representing where you're starting with, and then we added interest.
Okay. So then now what we do, you tell me.
We're going to multiply our 0.06 times 2.
So 0.06 times 2 is that 0.12?
Yes,
It is.
it is.
Wow, my math.
Yeah.
Do we
With
keep that in a parentheses or no?
We can put it in front of the P because then it's just our constant that goes with the P that it's multiplied by. And it's
Okay, so it's
going with the
multiplied by
second
P.
P. Yeah.
But we keep that P plus.
Yes. So now we have 3,640 equals P
P
plus.
plus 0.112B.
Correct.
Okay,
So
got that.
now we can add our like terms on the right because we have a 1p and then a 0.112p. So we can add those together. 1 plus 0.112.
Is, okay, so it's 0.13.
It's 1.112p.
Oh, because that's a full
It's
one.
a full one. Yes. If there's
Right,
no number
one.
in front of it, it's a full
I get
one.
it. I get it. Yep. So it's, you make it a 1 and it's, so now she's paying 1.12%, basically.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Three,
so
Four. Oh,
now we need to divide both sides by that 1.12. Since we need to get p by itself.
okay. 1.12. So that cancels out that. So now we have a P over to the right equals. Yeah, no
Yep.
calculator. What do you got? What do you
Yes.
got, cuz? I got no
Definitely not
calculator.
doing
It's
that
on
in my
phone.
head.
I'm not.
Yeah, that comes out to 3,250. And so
So,
that's P. So that's the principal. So that's how much she originally borrowed.
so the answer would be, Andrea borrowed $3,640 and
She,
she paid.
yeah. So I would write it as she borrowed $3,250. And after 2 years at 6% interest,
Okay.
she
She paid
owed,
$3,640.
no, she didn't. Yeah. Sorry. In my head, for some reason, the 6 came first, and I thought you said 6,000. I'm like, no, that's not what you said.
Yeah, now see, this is what my head sounds like.
Yeah, my head is like reversing them.
I don't know how you do it. I think it's amazing that you can do this because I'm just so so it's like
Well,
confused.
I mean, you can do it. So when I was in grad school, and one of my professors pointed out to me, he said, "Did you notice that you'll say one number and write something else?" And I'm
I
like,
do that.
no. So ever since he said that, I started paying attention. I realized I do that a lot.
Mhm.
And that has helped me because now that I know that I do that, I double check everything that I do.
That's
So-
what I think I'm starting to it's starting, like it's all starting taking time, and I don't want to mess up my I don't want to say fuck up, but mess up my
Yeah.
test
But
because I don't know. But I'm doing the
Right.
best I can, trying to figure out. But I'm gonna just, like, I know on my last thing on the paper, I put my checks in there just so that it was for me. And some of them I got and I don't know how I got. So that was confusing too.
Yeah.
I think I wrote that. I'm like, I don't know how I got that.
Well, what I would recommend doing, because the quizzes are timed, which is partly how we make sure people don't cheat when you're online. It's different when
yeah,
you're
you
in
can.
person.
I'm trying not to do that because that's not.
Yeah,
I won't
it's
learn
so
anything,
easy.
and I have
So
to show my work.
that's why we time them to kind of, do what we can against it. But I would save all of your checks to the end, like answer all of them, and then with your extra time, go back and start checking your work. That way, at least you make sure that you answered everything,
Right. So I got through them all. Now let's see if there's any problems with any of
Yes,
them.
exactly.
But do that on paper before I put them into the answer.
I would put them in first because I think you should be able to make corrections.
I don't think so.
Oh, it doesn't let you?
It doesn't let you. Whatever you put in there, that's it.
Oh yeah, I did not realize that.
Yeah, you have to really have it. That's why I think I'm going to be spending more time on the paper, checking as I go.
Yeah,
And
that would make sense.
I'll just rewrite my formula, my check, my problem, not with the check after I'm done to submit it.
That works.
So you're not looking at it going, she's nuts.
That works.
Okay. Anything else we're going?
Oh, I got one more.
Oh my Lord, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm missing some of the screen on the top, but that's okay. It's on my phone.
It must be your phone. I wonder if you rotate your phone, if it'll show up.
Right now I'm rotating it. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying a little bit bigger because I'm blind. Blind to glasses too, that's not helping the situation.
Aiden is trying to, why did I pick A's for all these? I don't know.
I don't know.
Aiden is trying to save money and has $1,800 to set aside in some type of savings account. He checked his bank one day and found that the rate for a 12-month CD had an annual percentage yield of 1.25%, which is way more than you get these days.
No, this is really good.
Yeah, I'm lucky if I get that much on like a 10-year CD or something.
I know. I told you I made 2 cents. I'm like,
Yeah.
woo.
The interest rate on his savings account was 0.75%. Again, more than today.
Yeah,
It used
This
to
is-
be like 5 years ago, they would be this.
this is a
So-
good dream.
Yeah. How much more simple interest would Aiden earn if he invested in a CD for 12 months rather than leaving the 1,800 in a regular savings account? So
Okay, that's confusing, but okay, we have to dissect this.
we have to dissect this. So I'm going to just like, we've got this CD and it's a 12-month CD. So that means the time is equal to, why did I write my T that way? Time is equal to 1. It's like I put the equal sign on top of the T for some reason.
We're all having one of those days.
Yep.
Okay, so the time is 12 months.
Yeah, 12 months. So we put 1 because it's 1 year, because all these things are in terms of year.
Okay, that would be, yep, so 1 year.
And then that rate is 1.25%.
1.25.
0.0125. So it's 0.0125.
125%. Okay. Which converts to what 125% reverts to 0.0125.
Yes.
And now we are looking for a percent.
Yeah. Well, first I'm going to just keep. So that was like the first kind of situation. I'm going to look at the savings account
Okay.
and write down that information.
Is these 2 different problems?
Yes, the question is asking us to compare the 2 and see
Oh.
how much more money you get in the CD,
Uh,
because it has a higher interest rate. So you're going to get more money, and it's asking us how much more are you making in the CD compared to the savings account. So we have to figure them both out to do that comparison.
I get it. Okay.
So same amount of time, because when we're comparing, we're comparing the same amount of time.
Right. Versus the same amount of 12 months.
Yes.
One.
The interest rate is
Right.
different though.
So that's 0.75%. 0.7% would be 0.075.
0.0075.
5. Okay. Because it's out of 100.
Yeah. Yeah, you're dividing by 100.
Okay.
So you can always just do that on your calculator and divide by 100 to get the decimal form.
Okay. So the rate on savings account 70 for 12 months. And what was the other one? 1 point. We got that one.
Yes.
And great. So now we
our
know-
formula, we need the principal. And so he says the problem says he has $1,800 for both of these. The principal is going to be $1,800.
okay, that's got. Yep. We have to find out what the interest is.
Yes.
The difference of the interest rate.
Yeah. So we need to calculate the interest separately for each one, and then we'll subtract them to find out what the actual difference is.
So like kind of draw a picture. This is your CD. This is your bank, regular bank.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So on problem number 1. Oh, you already did that. Okay. Oh, you just did. That's what I did.
I just wrote down the formula. That's all I did.
That's what of them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's always good to write down the formula every
As-
time to help you like memorize it.
Yep. Okay.
So our principal is 1,800. So it's going to be 1,800. And then times our rate. So it's 0.0125. And then times T, which is 1.
Times 1. And then I is over here equals. Okay. So then you do 0.125. Wait, I'm sorry. 0.0125 times 1 makes it 1.
It's still 0.0125 because
It's
when you
same.
multiply by 1, it doesn't change.
That's easy.
Yes. And then you multiply by
So-
1,800.
You can let me know what that one is on my calculator.
That comes to 22.5. So this is in dollars. So $22.50.
Okay, so I equals 2250.
So now we want to do the same thing for the savings account.
So we do the same thing. So equals 1800 times 0.0075 times 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I equals, so now we do, we're always clearing parentheses first, no matter what we're doing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be anything times 1 is the same thing, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
0.075, 1800 times. So I equals, what you got, lady?
13.5.
13, well, he's better off with the CD.
Yeah, which makes sense because it has a higher interest rate.
Right, so now what we would do is take 2250 minus 1350.
Yes, because the question is asking about the difference. How much more is he making? So
Okay.
2250 minus 1350. I think that's going to be $9, but I don't trust subtracting with decimals. I always mess up.
Yeah, so yes, it is $9. I just
Yeah,
did it.
$9. So he will make $9 more in the CD.
Well, listen, I do that Robin Hood. I'm like, ooh, I made 32 cents today.
Yep, I also use Robinhood.
Do you?
Yeah.
You know what? It's a very interesting platform. I'm only invested a very little, but I want to learn about it. So then I read about other stocks to see what's coming up. And I'm like, you know
Mhm.
what? I'll take $10. Listen, I own a little Amazon, a little Tesla.
Yeah,
You know.
that's what I do. I've got a little bit of the various things, and I've tried to get in on some of their IPOs, but those, they basically have a long list and more shares than
Yep.
people, or more people than shares. So they randomly pick, and I haven't gotten in yet.
Well,
But-
yes. But yeah, anything. But then I'm like, how do I dump it if I don't want it? Because it's like a negative.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I've sold on there, and I just always make sure I do some sales like when they're positive, you know.
right. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I always look, overall, I'm like, okay, I've made money on this, so I sell it. And I've been kind of messing around with buying like one share, selling one share, and just doing little tiny transactions, which doesn't
are
really, it doesn't make you a lot of money in the long run, but it's kind of fun for me. So it's
But
just a little fun money.
It's teaching. It's like I took like, I don't know, I think it took like $100, and then my boyfriend's like, a Ford's coming up, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy a little bit of Ford,
Mhm. Yeah.
but just a little bit, $10 worth,
Yep.
whatever. And you know what? It's money sitting there going, okay, I made $2.32
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like returning beer cans.
Hmm.
It's the same idea.
And if you keep it in there long enough, you could make a lot of money. My great aunt bought GE stock. I mean,
Holy
gosh,
moly.
way long time ago. She never sold it. She was just, I mean, she just sat on it for years. And today, man, it's worth so much money.
Well, it's like Tesla too, because of all the buying of electric cars. Tesla's going to go up because everybody's going to start buying.
Yeah,
them.
every year I keep saying, oh, I should invest in Tesla. And then every
Well-
year I'm like, why didn't I do it? Now it's worth even more.
Well, I do $10. Like I started with $10, and I have a reoccurring investment every month for $10.
Ah,
Every month they take $10 and they put it in. So instead of me taking $1,000 over a
Right.
year, at least I'll have $120 in. So 120
yes.
times that.
And
So
it
if
makes
doing
it's
that.
better to do it at intervals like that, because then you're buying sometimes when it's up, sometimes when it's down, and so you're getting like an average return versus doing it once and you're stuck with like you bought it when it was all down or something like that.
Exactly. So that's what I'm just trying to do. And it's it's just a play toy here because
Mhm.
it's a lot of money, but it's just like, let's see what happens here.
Yep.
Oh, wait. And you know what? It gives you a little bit of research because you start researching the company and
Exactly.
why is this like this? Like I have Zemetica and Juniper, and I just thought they were really good stocks because they're about pets.
Mhm.
Because everyone pays money for their pets.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
So I picked some, I think I have like a wind farm stock or something like that,
Wind-
because I know that's getting big. And I did invest in a marijuana company because I'm like, well, these days everything's getting,
Oh, yeah.
legal. So
That would be probably my next one is probably that because they're all going to explode because,
yes.
but they're all gonna explode. So you have to pick the one that's gonna do
Right.
the best.
Yeah, right now it's not doing so well because it's still technically illegal nationally, but you know, at some point it's going to become legal the way everything's going. So I'm just holding
So
on
you
and
hold
waiting.
on.
Yep,
Yeah, you know what? It would be sitting in your bank account just doing nothing too.
exactly. So might as well hold on
Yeah.
to it.
Okay, is that the
That's
end of
it. That is the end.
I am very happy that I got to have a one-on-one session with you because I feel a little more confident. I've gotten a couple questions out of my head and
Mhm.
answered. So, yeah, I will not be doing all of the orange ones. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
But so whatever.
I think the orange ones are the ones you want to do. It's the blue you don't want to do. The blue is the optional. Let me double check.
Oh, are optional. Okay.
Yeah, let me log back in.
Hey, optional on them. I think you're
Yes.
correct.
Yes, they say optional. So if it says optional, then it literally means optional. Oh, they're
Okay.
green. You want to do the green and the orange. The green is the homework, the orange are the quizzes, blue is optional.
Okay. I'll see which one I'm in that I see if I have to finish it or not. Because
Yeah.
that's the one I worked a few days on 3 or 4 problems. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're such a loser.
I mean, it doesn't hurt you. You're doing extra problems, but it can be overwhelming.
Time that I have another class I have to get
Right.
to.
Yes.
And I usually try to be done by like Sunday or Monday with everything. So, okay. So we're all set.
Yeah.
I'm wishing you the best Christmas and
Yes.
holiday. We'll have the next. I'm glad I logged on.
Yeah, and the next one, because of New Year's, I changed that date again. You know, we've got all these holidays coming up and messing with it.
That's okay. Back to no holidays at all soon.
Yes. Where is my calendar? Somewhere I have. Where did?
I don't know.
Yeah. So the next one is okay. I'm going to do it on Sunday at 1 o'clock instead. So I'm just shifting it a day.
So that's 2 p.m. my time.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, because you're in Florida. So that's on the 2nd.
Okay, January. I'll be there.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, and I wish you the very merry Christmas.
Yes, you too. Take care.
So much, Stephanie.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.